Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Wednesday Twitter Spaces. This is another episode of the ShibaDoge Show. Obviously, my name is Leo, one of the lead devs of ShibaDoge and Burn and everything else we got going on in our ecosystem. Today's general topic of discussion is going to once again be the meme coin space and the crypto craze, obviously, which is mentioned in the title of the space. We have a very special guest today, somebody that we've worked closely with for over a year now. Pretty big influencer in the space of meme coins and in the space of just decentralized finance in general. We got Mr. Adam Shelton on board with us. For anybody who doesn't know Adam, if you want to hop in and give yourself a quick introduction.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, Adam Shelton and content for basically all cryptos, really. Definitely ShibaDoge. And I've been doing ShibaDoge content for quite some time. And right now we are in this meme phase. So this is a really good conversation to talk about and where is it going and some of the tips and tricks about the memes and also about what's going to happen after the meme.
Yep.
Yeah, because you're going to have a direction. What's going to happen after is you got to have somewhere to go.
So, Adam, last year when we met and when we started working together and whatnot, the markets were a lot different than they were today. Obviously, the differences are they're they're out there. Everybody can notice it. But in your personal opinion, obviously, the last bull run is when we started talking, we started working together. Compared to now, what would you say is the main difference without including the bear? Because let's put the bear out of the room for now. Because I do personally think that this is the spark. This is the first glimpse that we're getting of the next bull run. Whether it happens through the Pepe craze or not. I do personally see a lot of interest back into the meme coin space, and I see a lot of similarities, but also differences of the last craze that we had.
Yeah, what I see now is more people now is aware of the meme coin space. Now, I think more people has been through some of that before, and I think also now you're seeing more craziness, a little bit more extensive ideas that you see out there. I think now people are looking to jump into any meme that has any type of movement or attention or narrative. And I think the narrative is a big point that I see is that a narrative is a narrative and it has, some wings to fly. I think that's where people are going to. Obviously, the Pepe thing kind of really kind of started this boat, and now people are pinching off that. They're doing things with it, revitalizing their communities, creating new projects, like all the time. But I think it's bringing attention to crypto. One thing I do like is bringing more attention to the meme coin space. The difference of last bull run when we had the meme coin, it was we didn't have this here. We didn't have like a lot of more people are more experienced and they are more aware of it and they're willing to kind of dive in more to it. So it's bringing attention to crypto, which is a good thing. More attention.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. And it seems like anything that is coming out, which is like coming out new, they all seem to be following the same trend. And the trend that I'm talking about is they're not very unique, right? They're not very unique. They're all copying each other with kind of like trendy names, and people are hopping on board. You're seeing like marketing stuff happen on social media where it's like, you could work 40 years of your life and set up a 401k, or you could put in $75 into a random meme coin and it'll turn into $500,000. Like, you have those little marketing schemes and things like that, but they're not that far from the truth. Like, yeah, it is kind of astronomical for you to be able to hit something like that, but it's not impossible. And especially in this space, there's a lot of wealth that has been created. Myself personally, I got my wealth was created through this space. A lot of people that I know have made a lot of money in meme coin space and in the crypto space in general. So it's important for people to understand that yes, you can make money. That's 100% possible, but it's also very, 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 it's more possible for you to lose your money. So
Right.
that's something that is very important to understand. What are some trends other than the zero tax and other than the meme things that you've noticed lately that maybe haven't been catching as much traction, but you personally think there is something that can happen out of it?
I think people are getting things now that people are more aware of. So what I'm starting to see a little bit now is in the memes that I see, they're coming up with characters that people know of and maybe watched when they were a child or watched when they were younger or they're currently watch. So they're finding characters that they've seen before. So that brings attention, brings memories, brings a little bit of excitement to it. And then they'll put like some narrative, small story with it to make it a little bit more attention. So I'm starting to see that as well. They don't have any utilities. It's not really, you don't know what direction these will go. And I think that's where it is now. But I think eventually that will phase. It will phase out. I think the OG meme coins and memes will get that attention back again. That's just my opinion from what I see. But new money or existing money is floating in, man, and that's what crypto needs. Crypto, it needs more money flowing in, regardless if it's a meme token that just launched today and is about some character that you saw when you was 12. Hey, if it brings money and excitement and people can get involved in that, they'll make that money. Maybe can shift that money at some point to something else that's been around for a while or has utility or something that can give them more of a value.
100%, man. And you're right. People are introducing characters and names and this and that. And a lot of it, personally, I've been able to connect that they're targeting more of the boomer audience, people in their 30s, people in their 40s, because a lot of the characters that are coming out are stuff that people can relate to from their childhood, from like the 80s or the 70s or probably around that time frame. But regardless, yeah, you're right. The trend will die down. It's nothing in this space lasts forever. Right. One thing that does last is, meme coins will always be meme coins, and that's very important to understand. The hype of meme coins will probably never die out because
no, I don't see that either.
Yeah, I don't see meme coins dying out, but the way that you present your meme coin, that is what changes, and that's what's dynamic. And we understand that there's a lot of volume and a lot of eyes and a lot of people in and out of the crypto space. So we're actually working on like a super secret like project, not project, but super secret like product. Let me rephrase that: product that is pretty much combining two of the strongest trends in the world, probably in the last 6 months and probably for the next year to 2 years. We've kind of pretty much figured out what is going to be mainstream for about that time frame. And we're working on something and kind of like, obviously we combined Shiba and we combined Doge and became ShibaDoge. That went viral. And, we were able to build a very strong community. We were able to build a very strong ecosystem out of that. And obviously, our plan is to continuously grow the ecosystem, continuously introduce new products, and continuously try to set new trends. That's what we're always all about. That's what we like to do. And that's what honestly grows your community in the fastest way possible. It may not be the most it may not be the best way to grow your community if you're doing it fast, because then you're kind of like attracting all types of people, and that's the demographic that you're looking for. The demographic that we're looking for are people who are trying to learn in crypto, trying to get started. Maybe they may be new to crypto. That's the demographic that we like, because we're able to kind of like help them out and kind of like help them steer the ship in the right direction. But regardless, it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, numbers are numbers. And with this next like I'm calling it a super secret plan because we've been working on it for the last year, like under the table, without giving too much information or any information about it at all. And we didn't even plan to release it this early. What we wanted to do was kind of like keep it in our back pocket and drop it when the bull market hit. But after this whole crypto craze started happening, and all this volume and all this people and all the marketing and everybody on social media talking about it, we're like, hey, this is probably the best time is to kind of do it right now. So you're right about the trends changing. And the product that's coming out does not follow the current trend per se. I mean, maybe it does, but it has its own consistency. It has its own unique flavor to it, and I think we're going to shock the entire ecosystem in a way, right? Because there isn't a product like this out, and I'm not going to drop what it is just yet. I will talk about it with you and our community when the time is right, probably within the next couple of weeks. But it's definitely something to look out for, and I think it's something that not just our community, but everybody out there who's interested in crypto or interested in tech in general will want to at least experiment with it, or at least learn about it. And yeah, man, we're just super excited for that. And honestly, like, I'm locked in right now. And I know you're locked in too, because obviously what you do in your career and in your space kind of like revolves around the crypto market doing good. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily doing good. It could do bad too, but you just need people to be active, and you need people to be involved in the space for us to be able to monetize the products that we bring and monetize the content that we make, right? So I think that's the most important thing that we're seeing right now is like, hey, there are hundreds of thousands of people that are flocking over to this space.
Yeah, all the time. If you look at the numbers as well, I've noticed that people who hasn't been involved in crypto in the last 6 to 7 months are getting back in. They're getting that excitement in, but once again, education is definitely important in terms of like steering in the right direction. And I think that what's happening is that you have this phase, but you always look at the next thing that can garnish the attention. There's always the next thing, and if you can pull that off, you will have a wave. Because right now, everyone's kind of like, well, the new memes, everyone's kind of doing the same thing. I agree with what you're saying. Everyone's doing the same thing, cartoon character, Pepe this, whatever. But if you are able to build something else that garners the attention and get back the value that's different, it could be a shift in that direction. And then what's going to happen, what could happen, people will start piggybacking from your idea and start building something similar or whatever from there. It's all about trend, like you said, and also about what's the next big thing is. And the next big thing could be something that really, really get a lot of people's attention and bring a lot more holders in.
Definitely, man. And a lot of it doesn't even matter like what you come out with, right? You could come out with the best product or the worst product, but how important is community when it comes to the success of a meme coin? Because I think that is the main driving force, and not just community, but also like, can you speak to your experience in like leveraging social media for the growth of a meme coin? Like, those two factors are very important.
Yeah, they are. They're very important to do, and I think that you have to leverage that. And Twitter, obviously, and YouTube, and TikTok, and a few others definitely give you that space to do it, and along with Discord and Telegram in terms of community build. I think a lot of these are building those communities quick and fast, but the only thing about some of these memes is like there's no next steps on a lot of these. You build a community, but then what?
Exactly.
Now, some of them have other steps. A lot of them don't really have a lot of steps, and eventually people are going to be like, well, what's next? And they're going to put a lot of pressure, and then they're going to eventually possibly start looking elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's a challenge that every project does, right? We also had that challenge in the first like month or 2 months that we came to light, where we were like, okay, we have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we completed all those. We completed them much quicker than anticipated, considering how fast we grew. And then it became like we sat down for a moment. And we're like, okay, like we completed everything on our roadmap that we expected to take 3 months in like 3 weeks. What now, right? Like let's get back to the drawing board. So we got back to the drawing board, and some teams are able to come up with something to sustain the growth. Some people are not able to, and you see their projects and you see their community fall apart. But it's a challenge that everybody goes through, man. And it's very important for the leaders of the communities to understand that as well. You have good leaders, and then you also have leaders who, they may be good, but they don't have the experience. They don't have what it takes to kind of push it to the next level. And that's ultimately what causes a lot of the projects to fall apart as well.
Yeah, definitely. Leadership, experience, vision. And I think what ShibaDoge, when the launch, it launched literally at the perfect time, because like the growth was so hard, and I kind of saw that happening because when it launched, it's like, this is the perfect time to do this, where Shiba was gone, Doge were gone, all this stuff was going on. And then this came in, and then you guys had experience and different things and all that. Like, yeah, this could work. But now I think some of these other memes, they don't really have that experience, and they want to grow, but don't really have the patience as well. And, the patience, maybe the connections, that's so important. Maybe the relationship with other influencers and content creators and marketing and different things like that. I think that does matter to a point. And then also some type of thing, you tell something to get people involved, But I think now,
Pepe to succeed there was a lull in the market, right? Like, it was a bear market for a very long time. There was nothing going on. People were launching projects like, at a 10% of the scale that they were launching before. So it was kind of dead, right? The market, the DEX market was kind of slow, and any marketing was going like, it was being swept under the tent everywhere. And since there was no other action happening in the space, everybody flocked over to that, and it accelerated growth, right? And then at that point, it's like all these influencers who had been on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever, and their job, they have similar jobs to you, where they talk about the crypto market and whatnot. They all of a sudden had something to talk about, which they hadn't had anything to talk about for the past 6+ months. So everybody and their mom starts talking about this one project, and boom, it creates like the biggest snowball effect that we've seen in the past 6 months. And like, Leo, like, why are you talking about Pepe? Like, why you shouldn't know the project? Like, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm actually shedding light as to how this space kind of operates and how it works. It always starts with something kicking it off, right? The first meme craze started and happened with DogeCoin. Let's be real. Like, Elon started pumping the shit out of DogeCoin, and literally everybody you were talking to was, on Robinhood or on different exchanges buying DogeCoin. So this isn't to that scale. It's not to that magnitude, not even close, but it doesn't need to be. It just shows people that there is still opportunity in this space. And what it shows us, people who operate in this space and work in this space and run projects in this space, it shows that there's actually a lot of new people and a lot of new money and a lot of new faces that are still interested in it. And I think this is going to snowball into something much, much bigger. Before, when we launched, yeah, you're right, it was the perfect time in a sense, but nothing like ShibaDoge existed at the time. People were launching like all of these projects that they were running as utility projects or gaming projects, or there was the play to earn trend happening at the time. So all of the launches were kind of focused around that. And then we came out with our project ShibaDoge, and it completely like derailed the trend that was going on. And you saw people combining names together left and right, trying to copy what we had going on, which is fine. I mean, that's how the space operates, right? But my point is, that next trend will come, and the thing is, the snowball effect will compound, and one trend will turn into another, and another will turn into another, and then boom, all of a sudden you're in a bull market again. And people who have been able to weather the storm over the past 8 months to a year with the bear market, they're going to be up on top. They're going to be happy, and established projects. This is not financial advice, but established projects like us and established projects like other people who have been working hard in the bear market, they're going to see a lot of success, because people are going to be flocking over. Like, they may have made a little bit of money on Pepe. They may have made a little bit of money on some other random launch, and they want to take their profits and kind of like invest into something a little bit more stable, a little bit more safe. So they come back to these established projects, and obviously, it's just beneficial for the entirety of the ecosystem.
Yeah. I think familiar, people being familiar with them as well. I think that does matter too, and I think right now, I think that it is about the trends, about what people are seeing the most. And people want to be where it's hot. That's just what a lot of people did. Want to be what's hot, what is new. But then I do remember when ShibaDoge launched, it was a different trend going on at that time. And then you came in and put two together. And then all of a sudden, other ones started to do the same thing. I do remember that.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a trend for a while, combining.
Yeah. It was for quite a while. Yeah, maybe about 2 to 3 months. People were still experimenting with that and trying to get it done. And it goes to show you, like, if you do it right, then it will work. I saw some of them that actually did okay. They obviously didn't pop off to like any crazy levels, but they still did okay. If a project comes out and it fails, that's fine. But if it rugs, then that's completely horrible. Like, don't do that. But if people are coming out with stuff and attempting to create something in the space, I always support that. But they have to do it with good intention. They have to do it with integrity, and they have to do it with honesty. And that's the biggest part. The biggest problem in this space is there are a lot of bad actors, right? Like, there are a lot of people who aren't able to deliver on the things that they talk about and deliver on the things that they promise, and then all of a sudden they just abandon their community and they're gone. And that's what kind of like keeps a lot of people traumatized to experiment in this space. And one thing that we focus very hard on is kind of like being able to build that trust and build that connection with our community, because we want to show people that, like, no, like, the crypto space can be a very safe place. You just have to take that extra step and be able to kind of like recognize the type of project that you're getting into and the type of people that you're involving yourself with when you become part of a community. Because it's one thing to kind of like day trade, and it's another thing to kind of get in and be a part of a community and watch it grow and be there from day one or year one, and watch and be a part of the brand as it evolves into something much bigger.
I 100% agree with that, man. Definitely. I think that I think longevity is important too as well. And I think that ShibaDoge is considered an OG token in a sense. It's considered that. Someone was asking me the other day, they said, hey, OG ShibaDoge, how they're doing? I was like, yeah. I guess with all these new ones popping in, it kind of boosts that up to a different status.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And I like that. I like that people are saying that. Last week, the guest that we had on, he called us a legacy token, right? And so it's kind of cool that we're able to implement a name like that. And it's like, I'll go into random chat rooms with people, right? And I'll kind of be like discussing things with people, in the crypto space. And it might be my first time in there, and I've never met any of these people. But when I come in and I introduce myself, like, hey, I'm Leo. I help run the ShibaDoge project. Everybody automatically knows the ShibaDoge project, whether they know me or not. Yeah. They're like, hey, I heard of that. I've seen that. I've, either been a holder or not at some point. And that is very important because obviously, like, no matter what anybody says, like, we always have done our best to uphold our reputation and make sure that we keep a solid reputation in the space, because we understand that we want to be in this space and in this sector for many, many years to come. Not just with the ShibaDoge project in itself, but with all of our products in the ecosystem. We want to be able to grow like a massive powerhouse in the future. And it all starts with step one, right? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And I feel like we're still, in the first step of our success in the future of crypto, right? Like, we're building something massive here. And whether people see it or not, we're trying our best, and we're kind of like allocating all of our resources, our time, our professionalism with people that we've met, our connections, and kind of like just, you know, bringing everything together to try to make that happen. And whether it happens overnight because of this crazy idea that I had or crazy idea that Peter or Alex has or whatever, that's cool too. Or whether it takes another year or 2 years, that's fine as well. But a lot of people in this space, the problem is they're so impatient, they're so fast paced where, you know, something doesn't go their way, they quit immediately. And I mean, I'm sure you see that too, because in your line of work, you know, you get a lot of people that talk to you and they're like, hey, I have this project, and they tell you about it and they show it to you. And then, you know, you probably check in on them 2 weeks later and you see that it's gone or something, right?
Yeah. That happens. That happens, and then what happens also is, you know, they're still around. Like there's projects out there that's been around for a year and they're still going. You know, I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
So how did you get involved in all of this? Like, how did you get to where you are right now?
Man, you know, I've always done content over investments for a while, you know, with stocks and then your blue chip token. So I've been around for a while, and then my community started asking me about Doge and Shiba. You know, so I was doing the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, your top ones. And then all of a sudden, around when the DogeCoin starts to happen, community members kept asking me to cover DogeCoin, talk about it, tips, mainly educational tips about it. So I started doing DogeCoin and Shiba. And then that's what happened. I just kind of built from there and continue to entertain and educate the audience. It blew up. It built so much. And then here we are.
Yeah, man. No, you've definitely built a pretty solid name for yourself, Adam. I'm not gonna lie. Like when we first started ShibaDoge, no offense, but I personally, I mean, maybe I've heard of you, but I haven't like really heard of you like that, right? And one of the main like things people were talking about was like, get Adam Shelton. I'm like, who's Adam Shelton? You know, like, no offense, but I started looking at you, and I found you, and I was, you know, I looked through some of your content. I was like, all right, cool. You know, the community wants it. Let's reach out. So we found a way. We reached out. You ended up liking what we told you, so you ended up coming on board, and you helped us get the word out there, right? And that's when I realized. I was like, all right, cool. Like, Adam Shelton, at the time, he probably had like 50,000 followers, something like that on Twitter. I was like, okay, Adam Shelton with 50,000 followers is much more powerful than some random guy with a million followers, right? Because the people are engaged. It's 50,000 engaged people rather than a million people who just scroll through something. So it's very important that, you know, people understand their worth, and that it doesn't happen just in numbers. It happens with the quality of the content and the quality of the audience that you're able to curate. And I think you've done a pretty good job on that, man. Have you ever been a part of a team, like for a project or anything like that? Or have you ever had your own project at any point?
I've been offered many times. I think I've kind of declined a lot of them just because I wanted to help out other communities to get to succeed to goals. And I enjoy creating different types of content and the educational entertainment. But I kind of like this side of just helping and pushing and encouraging and educating entertainment, because it's still so much to do on this side as well. There's still a lot to be done. And I would just like to be a part of that. But I've been offered many times.
Yeah, it's never a dull moment, man. You know, like
no, it's not.
It's probably very busy for you because I have my hands full with just our ecosystem. You have to kind of like juggle what's going on in 30 different ecosystems at the same time, right? And then if you miss something, the people on the team that you know, so used to your content being formatted to that project, they're like, hey, Adam didn't talk about us, we just released
yeah
So
it happens a lot.
I feel that, man. Do you have like an assistant or something? Or do you do everything yourself?
I do most of it myself. I do got like one or two people to kind of help me with, you know, with Twitter and pushing things out, but a lot of it I do myself. I'm kind of old school when it comes to that, but I do have help as well. I've got some team members that help as well.
Yeah.
I try to be as more transparent as possible, but you know, there's a lot of times where, you know, you just need that help, team members that kind of help push things out. And I know it will get insane. Like it will get insane, but in a good way. In a good way.
Definitely.
In a good way.
Do you
In a good way.
do you personally what do you where do you see the meme coin market in the next 12 months? Like in your this is like fully speculative, like, you know, obviously nothing we say is financial advice, but in your opinion, like if you were to take a guess, like where do you see the meme coin market in the next 12 months?
I think it'll still be here. I think your leading meme coins will still be there. I think your OGs will be there. I think there'll be a few of these that you hear about will still be around. I think the meme is definitely a big part of crypto, at least for right now. And I think I'll see that through the bull run. That's just my opinion. So I think the meme will still be there. But I also think that you're going to have new trends around the meme. So you may have meme slash a crazy utility, a crazy option. They're a meme now, but now they're more of a value packed type meme. I think you're going to have some of that crazy is going to happen as well. And then you're always going to have your blue chips. You're always going to have your non-blue chip tokens that's just right underneath your blue chips. But the meme, I think will still be here. But some of these may not make it. Some will, some won't. No one's will, no one's won't.
Exactly, man. And you know, it's hard to pick and choose. Like if you're a newcomer in the space and you're looking at what they invest in, yeah, man, definitely. Because like I can predict like a bunch of people that are seeing all of these social media posts and maybe they're deciding, okay, but let me take my first step into the crypto market, and they go and they like look, you know, hop on Dex tools and they click live new pairs and they say, oh, this one sounds cool, let me buy some of this one, or hey, I'm the first investor on this one, and then boom, all of a sudden it's like you just got rut because you're navigating yourself into the pit of crypto, right? So what advice would you give like a newcomer, or what do you think are some of the biggest challenges that a newcomer would have to face in the meme coin space? Like just maybe one or two things.
Man, I think you kind of nailed it. Don't know where to start. Like they see all these different memes and some are exploding, some are not, some are got a pretty picture, some have a really cool message. So I will just get into that. I would say one thing is go back to the basics. So if you're going to do the meme, look at some of the old school memes. Research those. Right. Research some of the memes because they are the backbone of this whole narrative, really. So research some of the memes. Look up what is meme. You know, you're like, hey, I don't even know what a meme is, you know? And what does it do? I would say research the old school memes. Look up what meme coin is. And then understanding what you're getting yourself into, like meme coins, especially these new ones. They are high risk and they can be there today, be gone tomorrow, like we were talking about. But I would say just research the fathers, the people who really started this, and then understanding what meme coin is. That's what I would tell them.
You're right, man. I mean, history doesn't lie, right? Like if you look at something and compare it to what has happened with it before in the past, it's kind of easier to predict what can happen in the future, right? If like you see a bunch of similarities. So yeah, I mean, definitely look at history, look at how other people have done it, and you're right. Yeah, it's a given fact that if you're a newcomer in crypto, whether you like it or not, at one point something is going to happen to you where it's going to be negative. It's happened to all of us. I'm sure you've been scammed, you've been hacked at one point in your crypto life. I know I have. I know probably 99% of the people listening to this have had something sketchy happen to them at one point, right? So you can't really avoid it, but you have to learn from it. And that's why don't like go crazy with the amount that you invest at first until you're comfortable navigating your way through the crypto market and knowing, you know, like, hey, I'm not buying a scam or I'm not buying a contract that doesn't even allow me to sell. So those are some key things that I would say. How long have you been doing this now? Like 2 years, 3 years, maybe?
Let's see, 3, I think. three and a half. Yeah.
Has it like affected your everyday life, like being like the fame or anything like that, being like a crypto influencer? Like, do you ever go anywhere and people recognize you, or you don't think you're at that level just yet, where you go out to dinner and people kind of like figure out, hey, that's Adam or whatnot?
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. I had a couple of people who recognize. But yeah, I have been recognized. Or I remember one time I did a live and some people knew where I was and they showed up. So I was like, man, okay, so I can't do that. I was like, I need to hide or maybe put it against some random green wall where they won't know. But they recognize the background. They're like, oh, I know where that's at. So they showed up and they brought everybody, the mom, the dad, they brought the whole family. Yes.
The minivan, huh?
Yeah, pulled out. Oh, there he is. I was like, and I was still wrapping up still wrapping it up. And at first I didn't know what they were talking to me. I'm like, you talking to me? So yeah, they came over and we kind of talked and chat. And that was funny. Yeah. So it happened a couple of times. Yeah, a few times it definitely has happened.
So yeah, man, that's honestly, so look, like obviously I'm not doxxed. Like nobody on our core team is doxxed. That's something that we obviously very early on decided that we want to be undoxxed. And
yes,
it's something that I've always been paranoid about when I go to like Starbucks or when I go to like a public place where I'm like when I need to talk, I'm like, damn, what if like somebody recognizes me, right? Like what if someone recognizes my voice? Or when I go to like crypto conventions, like I try to just like not talk and stuff. Even up to this day, like I'll go to Starbucks and every single visit I give a different name, like a random name. And the Starbucks employee the other day, because there's one close by to my house I go to, he's like, dude, why do you always give me different names? I'm like, my parents gave me a lot of names. Yeah. Because I never remember what I tell them, right? So he started laughing. But there was an incident one time where I think it was in Miami. It was an NFT convention, and I had went out over there, and obviously we had a booth and everything, and I was there. I was like kind of like nobody knew I was there, but I was there, and I talked, and like 3 people from our booth turned around and looked at me, and I like immediately just took off the other way. I'm like, nope,
nope, yeah, nope. No, yeah, absolutely. Man. Yeah. In your position, I can see that definitely happen. But I can understand, the whole doxing thing. I definitely understand that. No question.
Yeah, I get why people want it, and people need to understand why we don't want it. Like obviously there's a lot of like safety risks that come with it. There's a lot of the government's knowing who we are. Like we don't really want that. I mean, not that I care if the government knows who I am or not. They obviously do, but more or less it's like a safety thing. Like if anything ever happens, like I have a kid, I have a wife, I have like all this stuff that I care about. It's like you never really want to put anybody in danger. So we were able to pull it off in a way where we're like, okay, look, we're not doxing, but like we're as transparent as we possibly can be every single time. And I think a lot of it has to do with the transparency, right? Like me coming on AMA every week. There's a voice to the project every week. You build that personalized, that personal connection with your community, and it defeats all the purposes. Like, but I get it, man. When people look at a project and they're like, "Oh, they're not doxxed," it might be a red flag for some people. But it's like, just take a little bit of extra time doing your due diligence, and I think that really helps out.
But I don't even know where that came from, because you think about it, a lot of the project was never doxed. Like a lot of these are not doxed. Like
they weren't. I mean, even look at like projects popping off right now, like Pepe, for example. They reached close to a $2 billion market cap. Do you know who the dev is? I mean, I have no idea. Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people didn't even really care. Like
they don't really care. Yeah.
That's interesting. You're right about that. I don't know what the whole docs came from. I think it was just, people felt like more safety, maybe more, more reinsurance. Okay, I know what this person is, but that's not where all this started from. I agree with that.
You know what it is from? I think more or less it's like maybe like a project like pumped because the dev came out and was like, hey, I'm doxing myself, and then people like pumped the project because they used it as a catalyst. And I think that's what kind of like sparked it, where people were like, hey, you should dox yourself because it'll pump the project. So I think that's where it started from. But yeah, also a lot of it, people like feeling more safe, knowing like, you know, who it is, and you know, be able to hold people accountable or whatever in case something happens. But you know, a lot of that is thrown out the window when you're able to build that trust and build that connection with the people. So I think we worked very hard to make sure that we're able to achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that is, and it's not easy to do that. It's not easy because somebody's going to have to buy it.
Like, do you ever get like people like flooding you in your DMs? Like, you know, obviously like you work on reporting on a lot of projects, and you know, some projects do great, some of them are flops and they do horrible. When people buy into something and it flops and doesn't do well, do they come and try to put the blame on you, or like, or what do the DMs on that look like, or are people like, okay, cool, I get it?
Sometimes, not as much as anymore, but like back then a little bit when it was really just very noticeable, then yeah, especially if the dev was gone or not saying anything. But yeah, sometimes, yeah, oh yeah, sometimes, because I think people want answers and they're not getting the information, so they'll go after the next person that might have been talking about it. And a lot of times the influencer content creator is, you know, he or she may be bigger than the whole project itself. So it's almost like you are the person that's heavily involved. Like you are the name of the whole thing, even though it's not your project.
Right.
So like they'll look at you in that position. But sometimes, yeah, but not as much anymore at all. I think people are getting more wiser and understanding that, hey, you know, I know who to go to if something goes wrong. And I think as long as you keep things safe and secure, and, you know, letting the audience know, like, hey, this is high risk, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think that's all you can do, you know, disclaimers, those type of things. But, you know, some do, some don't. Not anymore from my end. I don't really get that at all as much as it used to be.
Yeah.
Not at all. And actually, I get the opposite. It's more like, hey, can you help us? Can you shout out? You know, it's really the opposite. So if a project is dying or whatever, or need help, you usually get that information. So it's usually the opposite these days now.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Kind of changed the little topic a little bit. I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but yesterday we started our season 3 of our Warzone, where people are able to deploy their NFTs and whatnot. So we've released all the information on that. It's live now. Obviously, gas is ridiculous, so you know, if you're a holder or anything like that, you can wait for a low gas time to deploy. But what's interesting about this season, and what's going to be very special about this season, is we have a segmented season, right? So it's cut out into 3 different parts, possibly 4, but 3 for sure. So the first part, obviously, being the 120 days of Warzone, and starting with the Shiba Army and the Doge Army NFTs. You'll be able to deploy those. And then the second segment is you'll be able to deploy the bread NFTs that people were breeding over the last few months with our ShibaDoge NFTs. And those are going to be generating burn token rewards for people. And then the third segment of it is something that we're keeping super secret, and it has a lot to do with what I kind of talked about earlier in the beginning of the Twitter space with you when I said we're working on something pretty massive. So that's going to be included in there. And then also people who own burn cards are going to be included in a tiered system that we're working on as well. So anybody who's like a holder in our ecosystem is going to be kind of rewarded for being a holder in our ecosystem, which is something that I think the community is going to like to see. But on top of that, the new thing that I was saying that we're working on, the secret thing that we're working on, a lot of what we released over the last year and a half has all been curated to serve directly to the ShibaDoge community, right? Whether you're an NFT holder, whether you're a token holder, or whatever, everything that we've worked on, everything that we've built was kind of curated to deliver to just the ShibaDoge community. So a lot of people from the outside who weren't part of the community were like, hey, that's cool and all, but maybe I don't have an NFT, or maybe I don't have the token, or whatnot. This new thing that we're working on is going to be more directed and more targeted to the global audience of crypto and just tech in general. So it's going to be very exciting, because a lot of times, like, we'll release a product and everybody who's a part of our community will be extremely happy, but then it's kind of like harder to get the attention of people outside of the community, because you know how it is, right? It's like if you're a holder of a project and you get something, you're happy. But if you're not a holder of that project and they release something, then you're kind of like from the sideline looking, and you're like, all right, cool. Like, I wish I was a holder, I would have gotten this. So this next release is going to be more like kind of globally directed to everybody. And I think it's a perfect opportunity to shed a lot of light on what we got going on and what we're building, and just we're going to be able to kind of target the whole demographic of people that are in there. Because right now I feel like everybody's looking for what's the next Pepe. Like, let's be real. Like, at the end of the day, that's what they're looking for, right? And I'm not saying we're going to release the next Pepe. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, the next tech that comes out is going to be kind of revolutionary, in a sense where it's like, okay, we may have a very, very strong opportunity to have every single influencer in the space, and even outside of the space, talking about us because of how revolutionary it is, what we're working on. Like, I'm to a point where I was blown away that we were able to even create something like this, right? So it even surprised me. So if it surprised me and I knew what we were getting ourselves into, I think it's going to surprise a lot of other people out there. And I know it's open-ended because I'm not really saying what it is just yet, but just for anybody listening, just know it is something that you guys are going to be kind of blown away by.
Yeah. If you're saying that, then I definitely believe you. And it's wide open right now to garnish that attention, because everybody's looking at one or two ways right now.
Yeah, they're looking at, okay, right now everybody's just trying to get a win, right? They're like, oh, they're looking at posts. They're looking at posts. They're like, oh, dude, if I invested $75 and I was the first investor of Pepe, I would have made 100,000, 500,000, or whatever. Like, that's what they're looking at, and that's the thing. Is like, it's far, but it's far from reality. Like, that's probably not the case for 99.9% of people. Like, that's not going to happen to you, but the chance that it can happen to you is what gets people going, right? Whether they make $500,000 out of thin air, or whether they just double their ETH, that's something that they want to do. And I understand, like, it's impossible to guarantee anything like that, but what I can guarantee is that what we're coming out with is going to be revolutionary. I'm not going to put a price tag on it, because I never predict anything that's going to happen in our ecosystem, because then I don't want people coming back and say, hey, Leo, you told me this was going to be $1 billion and it's not, so now I'm suing you. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put a price tag on it. But what I can tell you is, like, we understand what people want, and I think we're going to be able to deliver on that, in the sense where it's supply and demand. If the demand is there for something and you're able to supply it, then boom, the value of it will skyrocket. And I think with this next move, we're going to be able to target that.
Love it, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next thing. I mean, ShibaDoge having these seasons. Does anybody does this season of these NFTs?
I don't think anybody does them, man. I don't think anybody does them, and we're gonna kind of like keep doing them, and we're gonna keep changing the way that they are. So every season is gonna be different. And like I said, like, this season is our first season where we have a segmented season and an adaptive season that changes over time. So we're kind of experimenting with that, in a sense. But not only are we experimenting, we're kind of like figuring out new avenues on how people can monetize their NFTs in our ecosystem, and how it can open new doors for people to find value in the NFTs. So what we had to do this season, we cut the rewards in half for the private rank NFTs. Some people were upset about that, and I completely understand why they're upset about it. The rewards are cut in half, but at the end of the day, it's like a free service that you have for owning an NFT. So, it's still good, but we never take and not give. Like that's not what we do. That's not what we're about. Obviously, we took half of the rewards. We cut half of the rewards, but we're also giving in a different way. We're going to be able to deliver on the adaptive season. We're going to be able to bring new opportunities to people to interact with their NFTs and be able to find different value other than the token itself, right? So we never take and not give, right? So something is going to kind of fill that void and be able to replenish that void that people are getting from those rewards on that being cut in half. But that's just this season. You get what I'm saying? Like every season is going to be different. Some seasons you might earn more, some seasons you might earn less. But at the end of the day, we're going to make it fun. We're going to make it interactive, and it's the war zone, right? We could very easily not have done this in the first place, and it's something that we choose to do. It's something that we think is a cool utility for our NFTs, and it's something that we use our creative minds to keep pushing.
I like it. Mixing things up and creating a different outlook of it. Absolutely, and it is a free service, and you're right. No one else is doing that. No one else is doing that. So that makes it very, very unique.
Yeah. The only problem right now, and I'll address it, is definitely the Ethereum transaction fees, especially right now. Gas is ridiculous. So we're looking to more than likely next season not have the war zone happen on the Ethereum network. We're going to probably have it happen on the Matic network, Polygon. That way, if you were to pay $10 in gas on ETH, you'd pay like 6 cents on Polygon, right? So it'll defeat the whole transaction fee issue.
Well, I mean that's subjective, but hey, the service is still there. I mean, and the NFTs, I remember when these came out, man. Wow, I do remember that. So,
yes, sir. All right, Adam. Well, look, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We've already been on here for an hour. I think I have all of your socials, but what I am going to do is we'll include all of your socials in the end of, in the description of our YouTube video, because this is recorded on YouTube as well. So we'll put all your socials in there, give you a nice shout out and everything like that. If you have a link tree or something like that, you could just DM that to me on Telegram as well. And in case I'm missing something, I'll add it in there. But just to wrap things up, do you have any last things that you want to say, or any last thoughts, or if there's anything that you want to share with our audience about what you got going on? Feel free.
Yeah, definitely. Just keep an eye open. New updates, definitely from ShibaDoge and from the crypto world, and hey, just get things ready. For the next wave, because it's coming.
Yes, sir. Well, Adam, thank you for being here today, bro. We appreciate you taking time out of your week to come out here and participate in our Twitter space. So, I'm definitely going to be working closely with you again here in the next few weeks. So obviously we have some things that we want to get out, and I'll be sliding in your DMs, and we'll be discussing some things here in the future.
All right. Can't wait. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Adam. Catch you later, brother.
You too.
All right, guys. Does anybody have any questions or anything like that you guys want to talk to me about while we're here? Feel free to unmute, or Roof, if you got anything on YouTube, we could go ahead and tackle that.
Yeah. So on YouTube, I got someone asking why can't we leave our NFTs basically in our wallets? If there is no NFT, hold on a second. If there is no NFTs anymore, no earnings for the person, this could save on gas. So they're basically asking like, why can't you check it whilst it's in the wallet every day? So the NFT stays in the wallet. You can then check it to see it's there and then reward the holder.
I mean, that would be pretty difficult to do, I'm not going to lie. And I mean, the whole point of the Warzone is so that people can deploy their NFTs into the Warzone contract. So, yeah, it would be a complete disaster for us to be able to try to track every wallet and reward people every single day. Like the amount of work that would need to be done for that is a lot. Like this, we have one smart contract that kind of recognizes everything that's in there, recognizes the people who have deposited the NFTs in there, and rewards them, automatically without us having to manually do anything. If we have to manually do it, it would be a disaster.
Yeah.
Like Crypto Ken has a question. Let's bring you up. What's up, Crypto Ken?
Hey, how are you? Hey, I had a question real quick. You spoke briefly about migration away from ETH into like you spoke of Matic. What do you think of? I mean, how practical do you think that is, and how do you think that the possibility of that actually happening at a large rate, given with the price of gas and just the difficulties with it?
So the difficulties with it are pretty difficult when you're trying to like bridge over a bunch of different NFTs. Like that's one of the struggle that we had, but we were able to figure it out. So it's not too difficult if you know what you're doing. As for it happening on a large scale, I don't see it happening. I do see it happening for things like this, the little small niche use case that we're using it for, where it's like, hey, we're rewarding our communities through a service where they're able to kind of like, put their NFTs into the war zone, and we're able to kind of like send them rewards based on what they have in the war zone. I see it working on a pretty large scale for those types of services, but people migrating over from the ETH network, like NFTs and tokens itself, and just like exclusively trading and building liquidity pools on Matic or Polygon, I don't think that's going to happen. I think ETH is always going to be king. The main reason why we're doing this is so that our community members don't have to spend, hundreds and thousands of dollars on gas fees over the span of participating in our war zone and other activities that we do in the future.
Oh, absolutely, makes sense. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that answer.
For sure, brother. Let me see if there's any questions on Telegram, but it doesn't look like there is. A Rocket Man has a question. Let's bring you up. Hey, Rocket Man.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, man. How about you?
I'm good. I'm just trying to figure out this deployment. I've done it 3 times. It took 3 ETH transactions and still shows my troops as in reserve and not deployed. I'm just trying to figure out why and how to fix that.
Are you getting any type of error or what?
No, it just transaction hash is there. It says the money was sent, and then when I connect my wallet and everything, it shows I have 2 troops, 1 Shiba, 1 Doge, and they're just not deployed. They're in reserve.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Do I have you? Do I have an open conversation with you at all on Telegram?
Yes, once I sent you something about marketing.
Okay. Do you mind DMing me real quick? And while I got you out on here, I will confirm that you got the right me.
Yes. I'm just sending test.
There we go. I got it. Can you send me the transaction hash and possibly a screenshot of what you're seeing, and I'll go ahead and forward it over to our developers, and or maybe I could probably help you out myself right now in case it's something that I recognize.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'll send it over. You can take other questions.
Okay, perfect, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, we'll get it handled for you, my man.
Okay.
Yeah, so the same person just following on says, but you should check only from those who have accepted the contract from the site via some automatic script daily, so there shouldn't be any manual checking.
Okay. I mean, it sounds interesting for sure. I'd have to run it through people who understand it better than me. So
Yeah.
I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up to my to the team when we speak, and maybe our smart contract developers will be able to comment more on it. But I could see what he means by, like, hey, if there's like a script that checks who's a holder and who's participating, then yeah. But it also defeats the purpose of, like, you know, there are a lot of NFT holders that either got at some point lost their NFTs, or they got hacked or scammed or whatever. And, you know, if that were the case, then everybody who owns the NFT is going to get a reward. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but it's also kind of a double-edged sword in a way.
I've sent you the 3 messages you sent anyways in your DM, so you can just look through it.
Yeah, I see it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite long, so I didn't want to read it all out.
No worries. I get it. I get what he's saying. I get exactly what he means. And that actually, now that I think about it, might not be a bad idea. And a way to kind of like avoid the people who have stolen NFTs or anything like that. If we can set an approval on our site where they'd still have to sign a transaction, but not have to pay the transaction fee for deploying all their troops, maybe that can be a solution. But look into.
Yeah, once it's removed from that wallet, it's no longer valid to receive, right? So it has to basically stay in that wallet for that period of time. So if it's a scammer, they'll obviously move it out, right? Scammers, they transfer it, move it out. It's a good idea, man. It's like to save gas. I mean, these gas prices are crazy.
Yeah, the gas prices are crazy, man. They really are.
I mean, to deploy your NFT right now, it's 3 months of reward for a private. So I've been talking to a few of the members, and basically, if you deploy it, you're paying 3 months in gas. 3 months of whatever you'd get.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous as far as gas goes, man. I mean, what could we do? I wish I could control the gas fees, but they're running rampant right now.
Yeah. So what some people were asking is, whatever the third stage is, the third part, would it cover financially? Would it cover the? Because some people are saying they just might as well just buy the token, right?
Yeah.
Well,
look, financially, I can't ever give any advice. Financially, like even when I'm referring to tokens, I never refer to them financially, right? Like one token is one token. So at the end of the day, that's always what it will be. What the monetary financial value of it is obviously not something that I can control. You know, we could wake up tomorrow and a quint could be worth $1 million, or a quint could be worth $10. You get what I'm saying? It's not something that I control.
Yeah.
It's just we can control token amounts, and that's it. So it's like one token is always going to be one token. But yeah, the third part is going to be it's going to be a reward based thing, and it doesn't matter whether you stake it right now or deploy your NFT right now, or whether you deploy it later on down the line. It doesn't even matter if you're in the war zone in a sense. As long as you're a holder of the NFT projects, you'll be able to participate in the third the third part of the war zone in a sense.
Would that need to be deployed?
I don't believe it needs to be deployed. It's mainly for holders, right? The NFT holders. Right. Whether you're deployed or not, you're going to still be able to get the benefit of it.
Right. I mean,
being deployed is obviously better because you're going to be compounding, like, you know, the rewards for everything else. But the third segment of what we want to do is kind of, we just want to reward everybody who's part of our ecosystem, and that's going to have to do with our Warzone plan as well. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be deployed.
So the three season 3 is, do you undeploy after 120 days? Is that how it's going to be? It's just 120 days, or is part 2 gonna continue another 120 days?
Leo.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
I hear your voice, no one else's.
What?
You can only hear my voice?
Yep. For the last few minutes.
Guys,
maybe you might have muted Roof on accident. So I can hear him.
Let me see.
Can everyone else hear me?
No.
Dwayne, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Can you hear Roof?
Here's Jalav. He requested to speak. He's probably requesting to speak to say he can hear you.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say part 2. Is that another 120 days, or is it 120 days?
No. So the 120 days is for the season 3 of deployment, and part 2 would entail pretty much like the ShibaDoge NFTs being enabled to hop in, and part 3 is the secret part where, you know, we're going to be offering something to our NFT community. Okay,
so the after 120 days, you can undeploy, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So that's what some of the
you can undeploy at any time you want. You're never locked in. Locked in, right? So if you want to deploy today and undeploy tomorrow, you're able to do that. Like, we never lock you guys into anything.
Exactly. Yeah. So some of the members are saying, obviously, 3 months. If you was to do it now, then the gas fee would be obviously 3 months worth of deployment on a prior.
I would tell people, don't rush. There isn't any reason to rush. Like, we're not. We understand that there is a very high gas fee happening right now in the space. So we're not going to do that whole, like, hey, if you guys stake from week 1 to the very end of the season, you're going to get this and that or whatever. We're not going to do that because we don't want people to pay more gas fees than they have to. You know what I'm saying? So you could still participate in the season, and if we do end up doing something, we'll end up doing something for people who all participated in the war zone, whether they participated from the beginning or halfway through or whatever. If we do something like that this time around, we'll do it so that we can kind of have everybody involved, rather than kind of be like, hey, you know, you paid the gas fee from the beginning, so only you get it. We don't want to be kind of forcing people to pay extra gas. We don't benefit at all from anything for people paying extra gas. It's like, we don't want to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go, guys. I mean, the members have been asking this a lot, so I thought just clear it up, man, because a lot of them are saying they're just gonna buy the token with the gas fee, right? So
I mean, and that's not a bad idea. I mean, I think the token is at a pretty good spot for people to accumulate. And I mean
yeah,
that's personally what I think, and I think it's in a good spot. It's I want to say hype. Like we've been so stable that it's kind of like a stable coin in a sense, and I think a lot of the reason why that is because of how much we have in our liquidity pool. So if you look at like Pepe, for example, they have like a 1% ratio to their market cap to liquidity pool, where ShibaDoge has a much healthier liquidity pool, right? So
no doubt.
what do they have? They have 8.5 mil in their liquidity pool, and we have. Let me check.
3.5.
3.5, is that what it is now?
Some
Yeah, 3.35.
no.
So 3.35 mil in our liquidity pool. And you get what I'm saying? Like our liquidity pool is very, very, very healthy. And that is why the price has been able to sustain its stability. And obviously it's like if we had a 1% liquidity to market cap ratio, then we'd be much more volatile. But in times in times where there's like low volume, then people would be like, what's going on? Why is the price crashing? And that doesn't happen because of our liquidity pool. So it's very important to understand that.
Did you say someone had a question or?
I don't think so. I was reading Elon Vitalik's post in Telegram. He says, "Do we have to withdraw after part 1 to play in part 2? Then that's another gas fee, right? Or is it continuous through all 3 parts?" It's pretty much going to be continuous through all 3 parts, bro.
Yeah. So like Leo just said, the full period is 120 days for all 3.
Yeah, and Chris Scott has a good point too. He says things are going to get very interesting when the token goes up, and I 100% agree with that. The people right now who are saying like, "Hey, it's going to take 3 months of what's it called, rewards just for the gas fee," and then let's say like 6 months down the line, the token is 10x or 20x or whatever.
Yeah.
Those tokens that you accumulated during the war zone, you're not going to say that's not 3 months of tokens anymore. Maybe at this current given day it is, but not when the token goes up, right? So that's something to keep in mind.
And I don't think the community is really even saying that. I think it's more like they're saying it's just better for us to just buy the token because we're going to get the token by deploying and paying gas. So why not just use the gas to buy the token?
Right.
That's
true. That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
but then don't forget you're also going to pay gas in buying the token. How much does it cost right now to buy a token? Let me check.
I mean, the period is 120 days. It'll cost you. You wouldn't get 3 months worth of. You wouldn't get the gas back right now. Do you see what I mean? So you'd rather just pay the buy the token. You actually get more if you buy it.
No, I don't doubt that. With the way the gas fees are right now, I don't doubt it.
But if gas comes down to 20 grade, then you're more better off just deploying them. So it's all down to the gas one, Came down to 30 yesterday, I think. So.
Okay, let me see. If I want to buy $1 worth of a token, it's $17 in gas. No, I'm sorry, $18 in gas. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like if you want to buy quintillion, how much is it then? Same, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same. Let me check. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. So it's like some people are getting like $300, $500 in gas just to deploy. They can buy like just buy the tokens, 5 quintillion or whatever it is, 6 quintillion, pay a $17 gas. Yeah, they end
Yeah,
up
I mean,
getting more.
ultimately, it's up to the person whether they want to do it or not. Like we never force anybody.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a free service. Whether you guys want to participate or not, it's there for you. If you guys see, if it doesn't make sense to do it now, and then it makes sense to do it when the token pumps or something like that, you're still free to hop in and do it at any given time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go, guys. I've cleared that up for anyone that's been asking.
By the way, I think I've mentioned this already a couple of times, but I'm going to mention it again just so it's on record. Next week, I'm going to be out of town, so I won't be able to do a Telegram Tuesday, and I most likely will not be on Twitter Space next week, depending on if I have service or not. I'm going to a place where my service is going to be very choppy, and the Wi-Fi there is pretty garbage. It's one of my properties up where my family lives right now, and it's kind of like a cabin-based area, and it's almost impossible to get a connection up there. So for sure, I won't be on Telegram Tuesday. Possibly if I could find Wi-Fi, or if I could find like a Starbucks over there to kind of like park in front of and connect to their Wi-Fi, I'll be on Twitter Spaces. But that's just something that I got to figure out when I get there on Monday. So if I could find somewhere that I could find reliable Wi-Fi to connect to over there, then we'll do Twitter Spaces. But I won't be able to know until Monday.
So is that for Telegram and Twitter?
Yeah, for sure. Because
Okay.
I'm gonna be there from Monday to Friday, just spending some time with my family up there. And it's kind of like a family like cabin, family like property that we have over there, and we're all going to be meeting up, and we do this like once a year with pretty much everybody in my family. So
that's nice, bro. That's good. Gotta have a break,
like
man.
one of those family reunion things, you know?
Yeah, just don't get
eaten by a bear.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like eaten by a bear or flipping taken by some strange person, you know. I've been watching too many horror movies, bro.
No, it's cool out there. Normally, what I do, like I think you guys know, but I like to fish. I like to go fishing and stuff. So there's like a lake up there and the rivers, and we just go out there, fish, and barbecue the fish, and hang out, eat, and just do some like family stuff. Disconnect from the internet, dude. Sometimes it's so nice to disconnect from the internet. I only do it once a year. When we go up to this cabin, but you feel like there's no more problems in the world. You're not scrolling through the news. You're not scrolling through anything. You're just having fun. You're living life.
Exactly, bro. It's nature, man. Just being out there in nature and just disconnecting and just being out there yourself, man. When I go on holiday, for example, my motherland, which is Bangladesh, I go there and it's lovely, like same like that, it's countryside, and you just see the farmers, the birds,
the people live their life over there, dude. They may not make a lot of money, but they live their life,
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah. Even when I go to foreign countries, like visiting just tourism or whatever, I like to go to like low GDP countries just to kind of like explore. And the number one thing that I noticed is like, okay, this guy's probably making $500 a month, but that's all they need to be able to like feed their family, and they don't care about spending on the latest tech or spending on the latest new Gucci shoes or whatever. They just live their life, man. They have fun and they enjoy their lives, and you see kids outside playing and doing, you know, all this stuff that you don't see happen in big cities anymore. Like here in the U.S., like I get scared letting. Well, my kid's not old enough for me to let her outside to play yet, but the thought of me like thinking like, hey, I'm gonna have to let my kid go outside and play is kind of like freaks me out now.
No way, man. My kids are never allowed to go out to play. Not if I'm not tied to them, man. You know?
Yeah. But
I'm
when
like, I
was
hope.
a kid, my parents would like, you know, give me a bike and be like, go out and go ride a bike with your friends. Like,
yeah, exactly same. Yeah, man. I used to like after school. I was out on the streets, just walking with my friends.
Yeah.
That's how life
No
was.
phone, no cell phone, no nothing. You know, like my parents didn't know where I was, but they knew like everything will be fine. Like,
yeah,
I miss those days where you could just like leave your door unlocked and never have to worry about shit. And
I know, man.
The world is different.
Exactly. I remember you had to arrange the day before, like tell your friends where you're gonna meet, what time, everything, because there were no phones, right? So you had to.
Yeah. I remember having to call my friend's grandma like at his house, and I'd be like, hey, you know, is he home? Can I come over so we could play? And your grandma would be like, oh, he's not home. He went out. And I'd be like, oh, okay. I probably know where to find him. So I'll go and be hanging out with like some other guy at the other spot. Yeah.
Exactly.
I miss those days, man.
I know.
Those are good days.
Yeah, man.
Showing your age.
I'm in my late 20s, man. Not necessarily 30 yet, but I grew up in the early 90s, and you know, it was still like that for me back then. Obviously, I'm not like the 80s type of kid or anything like that, but in the 90s, we had like a nice balance of like tech finally coming out, and then still being a part of the side where, you know, we didn't have anything.
I'm 50, and you had to stick your finger in to dial the numbers.
I still have a phone like that at my parents' house, dude. It's in the kitchen. I love that thing, and it still works too.
That's funny.
So we got 30s, 40s, and 50s here.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about crypto, man. It brings people from all generations together.
Yeah, man. Because I grew up in the 80s, you know, and there was nothing. I don't even think there was phones, but you couldn't use your house phone, bro. You couldn't use your house phone. It's like your dad would never let you use the house phone. It cost a bum to use.
yeah.
I remember. And then they came out with Atari.
Oh yeah, dude. I actually, my older cousin had an Atari, and I used to go and play it at his house all the time. And then he got the Nintendo 64, and then that's when I would never sleep over at my house. So on the weekends, every weekend, I was at his house playing Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers and stuff.
Oh, my Mario Kart! I used to love playing Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Before I used to go.
No, I was gonna say now those games are still popular now.
Yep. I used to wake up before school every morning, 1 hour early, run downstairs, and just me and my brother used to play Mario Kart. You know what I mean? Like, that was the first thing I used to do. I was a bit crazy, man. Like, just wanted to play. So as soon as I come back from school, I'd be doing the same thing. I'll be back on my Atari. You know, I'd play the frog game. Don't know if you remember that one, the frog. Oh, it's called now.
No. You know what was Frogger? Frogger, yeah.
Frogger.
Okay, I know which one it is. My favorite one was on the Super Nintendo, the one that had a gun, the duck hunt game, and you point the gun at the TV and you shoot down the ducks. That was like my favorite. That was my favorite game.
Nice. Yeah, man. And then I was addicted to Sonic the Hedgehog, man. I was addicted to that. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a good game too.
Yep.
I got a question for you, Leo.
Yep, shoot me.
Okay. How about the ShibaDoge? When we go to stake them, do we got to pay? I guess we got to pay a gas fee for that too, right?
To be honest, I don't know. The reason why is because that is actually going to be in a way that Aruf was kind of saying. Those are actually going to stay in your wallet, I believe. So I don't know if you're going to just
See,
have to pay.
if that's how it is, then everybody's gonna make money if they have a ShibaDoge. I mean, they're gonna come out ahead just because of that.
Yeah, I know
Do you
you'll
understand
for
what I'm
sure have to pay. Yeah, I know you'll for sure have to pay for the approval because it's like for the interaction with the contract itself.
Yeah, like $5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's a good question, and I will have a more direct answer for that Monday. I'll find out. I'll actually ask our devs how that's going to work because I haven't asked.
Yeah, because if like right now, I was doing the numbers earlier. I'd probably, if I can wait to get the gas prices down to like, half of what they are now. Like yesterday they were 400, and then they went up to 7 today. So if they can get down to half of that, then at least double. And then if we don't have to pay for the the stake in the ShibaDoge, then you would make on the burn tokens, and everybody would still come out ahead. It'd be worth doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll find out for you. From what I understand is like you're going to still be able to interact with your Shiba Army NFTs, and they would stay in your wallet. So I don't know exactly how the gas is going to work on that, but I could definitely find out.
Okay, thanks.
All right, guys. Any other questions or anything like that, Roof? You got anything popping up on your end?
No, nothing right now.
Okay. Maybe we could wrap it up at this point. I think we had a pretty cool conversation with Adam. It wasn't like anything super meaningful, but it's cool.
Hello? Can you guys hear Leo? Oh, there. You're back, I think. Yep.
Sorry, yeah. Somebody just called me and it disconnected me from here. Oh, man. That's what Twitter sucks about, dude, that you can only do it on your phone. And, well, obviously we know a way to do it on the computer, but I'm doing it on my phone today. And
yeah,
you get a phone call and it kicks you out of the Twitter space, dude. Well, as I was saying, like, it's cool to have different personalities come on and, you kind of like digest how I know a lot of them have been influencers and whatnot, but it's cool to like see how they operate in the space too. It's a little different how we operate, and yeah, it's cool.
It was good, man. Yeah, Adam Shelton's well known. It was nice hearing him. I mean, he was the first person we had the AMA with, if you remember, and we had a nice pump after that AMA.
Yeah, he was the first AMA that we did like with the influencer.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here.
Cool.
I'll still be in Telegram if you guys need anything. Just tag me. But I won't be on voice next week. If I do come on voice, then it's probably going to be like random, where I'll just hop in Telegram if I can find service or Wi-Fi somewhere. And if I do end up having to do the Twitter space or figuring out a way how I could do the Twitter space from up there, then I'll let you guys know by Monday. But if not, I'll see you guys the week after on voice. I'll still be able to connect to like edge type of internet out there where I could still type and whatnot on Telegram. So I'll be on text for sure. It's just I don't know how my connectivity will be for me to get on voice calls and stuff like that.
So you'll be on dial-up. You'll be on a dial-up, right?
Pretty much, dude. Pretty much. So where I'm going, the closest supermarket is like a little bit over an hour drive. Wow. It's like 62 miles away to the closest supermarket. It's a Costco, and it's just like super secluded. But maybe I'll take the drive down to town if anything, depending on what we got going on that week.
Yeah, man. But have a break, bro. Have a break. Relax.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like this is part of my life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I don't do it, something about me feels weird. So I always try my best.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. As always, if you miss Doge, that sucks. If you miss Shiba, that also sucks. If you miss ShibaDoge, then I still love you, but you suck. All right, guys.
Let's go.
I love you all. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day. Have a good weekend or rest of your week. It's not necessarily the weekend yet, but I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Thanks, Leo.
Love. Peace.
Thank you, guys. Yep. Thank you.
Peace. Bye.